Anybody got any good stories? Would you like to hear one? Let me tell you, I can kick you off. People always ask me, how did you get the part? Shazam. Captain Marvel. By the way, I'm Captain Marvel, not Shazam. They have, bastardized the golden age characters. I mean, they really have. It's a shame what they're doing to all of those wonderful stories and things that they had back then. It's just, it's criminal. So anyway, I'm going to tell you how I got this part. I just graduated, boy, and just how I got into USC is unbelievable. To get a math, I've never done anything. I graduated from University of Alabama. I was back when Bear Bryant was there, when he first started, 1961. And he was, I was disappointed because Auburn had just won the national championship in '58, and I wanted to go to Auburn. And the girls outnumbered the guys 4-1 there, so yeah, you want to go there. And Dad said, well, no, my dad was a neurosurgeon in Montgomery. He said, no, you know, go on up to Alabama and stuff. They got a new guys coming in and, you know, a new coach. So I did, and it seemed like we were national champions every year. Almost like just recently he just retired. I can't even remember his name. I'm at that age, you guys are coming. If it hadn't gotten to you yet, it will. You're standing there and you can't even, now what, and you know it and you're bright and everything is great, but you can't recall what it was. I'm at that age now. Anyway, so I got into U.S., I'm just in the Army, and I got stationed at Fort Irwin in California, which is the Desert Training Center for the Army. And of course, we're in Nam at that time, which is jungles. So you can imagine there's nobody at Fort Irwin. It guards the big Goldstone tracking, you know, the ones you see in Spielberg movies, those big dishes. It's out in the middle. It's the Goldstone tracking station. It's out in the middle of the desert out there. And so I just got transferred there. And I get this postcard in the mail, says, yes, we would like to see you for an interview. It was the dating game. So I went back to where the girls, you know, the typing, and I said, which one are you? Oh, Lieutenant, you've got to go, you've got to go. So I go down there. I was brilliant in the interview, brilliant. Wanted me to come back. They wanted me to wear my uniform. And of course, during Nam, it was like this. None of this, thank you for your service stuff. It's just absolutely, you know, you felt brutalized if you ever had to wear your uniform anywhere out in public. I mean, it's terrible. But anyway, so I went down, make it short there, I didn't get the date. They say, well, you didn't lose, you just, how they put it is, you just weren't selected. Oh yeah, that makes you feel a lot better. Not selected. So anyway, I'm backstage, and all of a sudden this guy comes up to me and he says, have you ever thought about getting into acting? Now I was pre-med, major in biology, minor in physics and chemistry, could have triple minored in psychology, had one semester of marine biology and oceanography. I thought I was going to be, you know, I'd like to be on the Calypso, you know, Jacques Cousteau, and get out there and so if anybody told me that I was going to be an actor back then, I would say, you're a damn fool. There's no way. I didn't even know who Laurence Olivier was or anybody. I knew who John Wayne was. So anyway, I get in. That's another story I don't need to go through. It's really a great, my book's coming out, by the way, Myth, Magic, and Immortal. It's going to finally come out. I'm into the final stages of getting everything organized. The text is already done. Great stories in there. You're going to love these stories. I take every one of, not only some of the life stories of mine, but in the Shazam series, I take every episode and tell you how I did the gags in that. And so anyway, when I go and get into USC, in the MFA company, Master of Fine Arts company, in acting, and I've never done a thing in my life. Never done it. As I say, it's a great story how I got in there. Great story how I got a new agent. Never done a thing. Hadn't even started school yet, and got a SAG agent. The old, even Joseph Campbell says, just wander and bump into things. Or Seneca, the Stoic, says, the fates lead those that will, those that won't, they drag. Well, I must have been being dragged all over the place because I had no idea that I was going to be in the entertainment industry. So I get my master's there. John Ritter was an undergraduate. I did several things with him and Michael Onkeen, and I did the grand opening of the Bing Theater with Dorothy McGuire, Sweet Bird of Youth. I did so many different things then. Disney had me come out. They wanted to look at me for World's Greatest Athlete. Jan Michael Benson beat me out of that. He had just gotten out of Tribes or something, but I was perfect for it. They took me in and put me through what they called the Disney personality test. John Ritter had already done a couple of movies out there, and he told me how to be prepared for it. They're going to sit you down and make you talk about yourself. So, and they did. Bill Shepard took me in a little room, sat me down, had a camera on me. I mean, it was like a closet. Sat me down and said, what's your name? Jackson Bostwick. Tell us a little about something about yourself, Jackson. He shut the door. All I'm there is with the camera. Then I talk to a camera. You have to do it for 5 minutes. Try it sometime in the mirror. Talk about yourself for 5 minutes. So I just started talking about Alabama and what I did, water skiing and all that kind of stuff. So all of this I got through there. Now out of school, I just had an agent that I wasn't happy with, and I talked with Bill Shepard, who was the head of casting I can't think of the other guy's name, out of Disney. And I said, I'd like to get an agent. He said, what about Jack Worms? I said, I dropped some pictures off to Jack, I don't know, 6 weeks ago. I hadn't heard from him or anything. He said, let me give him a call. 30 minutes later, hey, Jackson, why don't you come on down? And, it's an agency. And you get a call from the casting at Disney. The agent's going to perk up. So I go in there and they sign me. So 1 week later, after being sent out, I don't know, God, every time I turned around, I was being sent out for a commercial. I'm not really a commercial type because you detract. If you're a leading man, you detract from the product. You look at the people that are making commercials. And most of them, actors don't like to be in commercials because it typecasts you. Look at, who was the one that did the Folgers coffee? And she can't get a job because they would mistake her for the Folgers one, or the girl that had you soaking her nails in the thing. Whoever it is. So all of these, now you guys maybe not know, these people will know who I'm talking about. So anyway, I got the agent. I'd already done a commercial, and they hadn't even gotten in school yet. And I did a commercial for Mutual of Omaha, The Wild Kingdom, for 90. It was a 90-second commercial. I did it with Tom Poston's brother, Dick Poston. So anyway, I hadn't even gotten anywhere yet. So I called. I said, I need an agent. So they called me down. They signed me. 1 week later, I get a call. It said, Jackson, we got an interview for you. It's for a Captain Marvel cereal. Now this is a commercial agent. So I'm thinking it's like Captain Crunch. It's a cereal. I didn't think it's an S. I mean, it's a C. So I'm dressed in my normal uniform that I go on commercials with. White t-shirt, jeans, and cowboy boots. I was big now, 217, had a 48.5-inch chest, a 30-inch waist, could do hack squats with 600 pounds. I was in judo, karate, you name it. I was training with Dan Inosanto, Bruce Lee's best friend, with Chuck Norris, trained with all of them out there, Ed Parker. So anyway, I go out, and he said there's a little studio called Filmation Studio. When you have a commercial interview, you don't know where you're going to be sent. It could be farmer's market, it could be any place, wherever they can get a room is where they set up, and then they interview you. So I drive out there, and I pull right up in front of the place. Now, if you know anything about commercials, when they have a cattle call, you're lucky you can't find a place in 2 blocks of where you're supposed to be. And I pull right up the front. I get out, walk inside, and nobody's there. Usually it's packed with people. You're learning the lines, whatever. I sit down and wait. Guy comes out. and it's the producer. You never meet the producer on a dinner. So he takes him back, and as he's talking to me, and he's looking through my pictures that I had, and he said, well, you know, then I started realizing this is Captain Marvel, which I grew up with during the Golden Age. Now, look, I had a stack of comics like this. Mom threw them away when I went to college. I miss Mom and I miss my comics. But I mean, tell you, I had a fortune in those early Golden Age classics. But anyway, and he looked at my flying sidekick in karate. He said, "Guy, you can fly without wires." Now, I didn't know what I was up against. I had no idea. And he talked with me, and you know, we had a good conversation. I told him I'm a big fan of. Oh, you know Captain? I said, absolutely. I grew up. I can tell you everything about him. We're walking out, and he later told me, he said, Jackson, did you notice the guy in the Farmer Johns that were sitting on the bench as you walked out of the studio? I said, not really. I saw him, but I didn't really pay any attention. He said, well, as you were going out, he was coming up, and he mentioned to me, and it wasn't not these words, but it was along the lines, like, wow, there goes the Captain Marvel. Now, I didn't realize this guy was up one of the final four that was coming in for the final, meeting to choose who would be the one they would choose. They'd already been looking for 4 months for a Captain Marvel. They'd started out looking for actors that were athletes, then athletes that were actors, and back and forth. And he said, "Do you know who that was?" I said, "No." He said, "That was Mark Harmon. He had just graduated from the UCLA as their star quarterback." Gee, I hope everything worked out for Mark. Anyway, so he was one of the final four. And that's how I got the part. That easy breezy. I didn't do anything. Just showed up, did the thing, and then everything I've done, I showed up and took a chance. If somebody would have said, if I'd have said I wanted to go to USC, now the only reason I chose USC, my dad, when I was still in the service, and after I'd had the meeting, done name drop. Game. What's the name of the show that I did? What the show I told you I was on? Huh? Dating game. All right. I just had that and had the conversation with the guy. What told Dad? Now, Dad's a neurosurgeon. I was a pre-med. Dad, what do you think if I give it a shot? He did. There was a beat. He said, well, as long as you're continuing your schooling, go ahead. There are only 2 schools I knew of in Southern California, and one of them was playing Alabama that year. I said, if it's good enough for the Bear, it's good enough for me. That's how I chose it. No other. Now, if I'd have asked somebody, do you think I could go over there to USC and see about getting into their acting class? Have you ever done it? No, never. Are you kidding? No, you can't get in something like it. Look at the people that are trying to buy in to USC. A couple of them just got caught. $500,000 to get their kid in. A couple of them are going to, for the can for a while. I didn't. Just walked in. I'd sure like to see about getting y'all's acting class. And I had that accent from Alabama. Well, have you ever done anything? No, sir, but I've been going to movies since I was 5 years old, if that counts. I mean, I had all the lines. Just amazing stuff, how this happens. I'm telling you, you can't plan stuff. You just have to be out there and do it. And don't put yourself down. Don't ever do that. Go for it. Take a shot. You never know. I tell people, if you're beating your head against the wall and you can't understand why, you're in the wrong wall. It's the old thing about the guy who's going to climb up the ladder. He said, I'm going to get up the ladder of life. I'm going to get up there and I'm going to get through those clouds and I'm going to make it up. So he gets up to the top and he looks over the wall and he realizes he's climbed up the wrong ladder. It's too late. Life's over. You can't do that. If you want something to hear, okay. All right, something pulls you over here. All right, let it pull you. You can always, come back. Let it pull you off spur and come back. You can get back online if you want to. You never know where this will take you out here. You never know. I didn't. I had no idea. You guys, I'm telling you, I didn't even know who Laurence Olivier was. Nothing. I knew some Disney thing. I knew Davy Crockett from Disney, Born on a Mountaintop in Tennessee. I know all that stuff. Didn't know anything about that. And you guys, it's just, I don't know what you're thinking about being or what you want to do, but you got to take a chance in life. If in my book, I write this stuff down. I say, if I made a script about this, nobody would believe it. You say, oh, he's making this stuff up. I'm not making it up. I lived it. I know what it is. And I'm sure you've lived certain things in your life, and you wanted, and all of a sudden you're in this, and you didn't realize you could be in this, and you're doing pretty good at it. Even if you're not, give it a shot. Give it a try. What you wanted to give it a try. That's what I do, and I did. A couple of the shows, now you can talk about a couple of the stunts I had to do. Now I had to hang off a helicopter. I was up 350 feet, and I'm talking to the pilot, and I said, my arms are starting to cramp. He said, well, we better take you down then. Yeah, good idea. So now I had something, a loop around me to help me hold on. 'Cause, see, the runner's about this big around. You can't get a grip on it. And it's like this. You have to do, and I'm telling you, your forearms just start really aching. And when you're 350 feet in the air, you're not really thinking about falling. You're thinking about your arms aching. And then you think about falling. And then you decide to tell that pilot, let's go down. He said, yeah, I think we better take you down. So we go down, and I land on the ground. And now the kid that had hijacked the helicopter is supposed to jump out when it's about this high off the ground. And my arms are like this, and he jumps out, and that helicopter's like this when you do it. And I'm saying, I could just see those bigger, I still remember, well, it hadn't happened yet, but Big Morrow got cut in half doing Twilight Zone and carrying those two little kids. And what happened was one of the charges hit the tail rotor. Once the tail rotor's hit, that's lights out for a helicopter. And it went in and caught those guys and cut him in half. And decapitated one of the girls, and the other one hit the runner, killed her. So anyway, that one I got down to the ground okay. Now, I'm not through yet. So I lowered it all the way down to show that I'd let it down. And the next thing I know, the kid had jumped into the motorhome and was taken off, and it was timed just right. I happened to look at it, and it was going down the road. So now it's my turn to go after that. So I chased it down. Now I get to it, and I land on top of it. There is nothing up there that they can attach me to. Nothing. They put a belt, if you will, across my feet. What good is that going to do? And I'm telling you, riding up there was like riding on a bowl of Jell-O. That's probably one of the most dangerous stunts I did, as far as me, to do it. There's no way nothing to hold on to if I rolled off or fell. So I'm up there, and now I have to, it's coming to a tunnel. I have to reach over and stop the thing. So we have a gag that I did. I said, what I'll do, and I'll tell them how to do it, I'll just reach over and slap it like this, and then you'll cut. And we'll come back and we'll shoot me stopping the thing. You do it in reverse, And how they did it, I'll put my hands up here, put the motorhome in reverse, the camera is going, and then I just let go just like I lifted off. So what you have is me doing this and stopping it, but it's already stopped. And we got off, but I'm telling you, that hurt my hands when I slapped it. That was in Griffith Park, the tunnel, one of the tunnels out there. But I went out there and I didn't realize it. I slapped that thing, and dang, that hurt. Damn near knocked me off the thing. But that was a dangerous stunt. Another one I did is when I had to drill to the ground. And I guess you would call it the guy that does the mechanics or whatever, comes over and tells me, now we got some 500-pound test piano wire that we're going to attach you to. We're going to haul you up on this 60-foot crane, and they're going to dangle you at 30 feet. And they put it around here, and they say, okay. And what happens is they take my feet up and they hang me where I'm just hanging on the ground like this. The guy comes up and spins me. And now I'm spinning. And he hauls me up, I'm spinning, okay? I'm looking down, and all I can see is my safety man in a hole down there. And what he's got is a water hose, because I'm supposed to be drilling for water. There's a fire. This is dune buggy. That the guy set the weeds on fire, and they're going to put it out. So I'm drilling down to do it. So all I can see down there is him. What am I going to land on? If anything happened, and this, I mean, it's really small wire, piano wire. Spin it. Okay, I get down there, and the hole is just going over on me like this. You know, I'm trying like, Jackson, God, that was great, great. Can you do another one? What? Yeah, okay, just do it, Pat. Get me up there. Okay, get me up there. Spin me again. Go up there. Now I'm looking down there, and I'm trying to concentrate. And okay, there it is. And I'm trying to take me down. And oh, Jackson, that was great. One more. Can you do one more? Damn, I'm thinking, how much can this wire take? You know, and it's just twisting up there. So they do another one, and I'm telling you, for 1 week, I couldn't ride. It was like putting your head on a bat and running around and try to go to first base. I'm telling you, I'd be walking like this. I'd go, all right, Jackson, come on, steer, you know, and okay, wait a minute, okay, I'm coming. Holy cow. Dad told me, he said, all they had to do is spin you the other way. Oh, thanks, Dad. A little too late. Yeah, because he said, what happened? You tumbled your semicircular canal up there. All you have to do is do it the other way, and it sets it back right. God.
So you're upside down doing this?
I'm heading right there, and I'm supposed to be drilling into the ground, and all I can see down there is my poor little, well, he's Big John. He's little, but that's all I could see. And if I fall, I'm right on him. I mean, we'll both be toast. So that was that stunt. Then I had another one when they wanted me to wrestle with a lion. Yeah, okay. And it was one of Elsie's cubs from Born Free. It was 300 pounds, a young, you know, male lion. So I'd already been informed that they wanted me to do that. And I'd already been down in Ross Allen's serpent garden or snake garden or whatever in Ocala, Florida, back in the early 50s. We'd gone down there. And the guy that was Jim Fowler, who was the main guy with Merlin Perkins on Wild Kingdom, was working there at the time. This was before Wild Kingdom. And they had cheetahs there, and they had different, and one thing he said, it always stuck with me, you don't ever turn your back on one of these, even if you've raised them from a little cub, you don't ever turn a back on them. First of all, that's where they attack from the rear. And you don't ever walk away or run from one, never. You always face them. You can bluff them a little bit. Maybe not a big lion charging you who's pissed because you shot him. But no, and they do that. The white hunters go into them. They don't go in with a rifle. They go with a 12-gauge shotgun with a double-out buck. They don't even think about going in with a rifle. Anyway, so this is in my mind. Okay, I still haven't had any problems with it yet. They had to gag the kids in the cage, and I'm having to come in and get him. So I have to land and you know, between the kid and the lion and save him. All right, so the kid is going to be behind the camera and the lion's going to be coming out. Now, how did they get the lion to come to the camera? They take a live chicken, grab him by the legs upside down and shake him. Now, here's this lion coming at this chicken, going nuts. I'm up on a 14-foot ladder, and here's a bigger bird in bright red, going to be flying down in between him and this chicken that he's going after. And I mean, you know how they get when they come at you. So I said, and I heard action, so I said, okay, and then I'm off. And I have to come off a 14-foot ladder and be able to land like Captain Marvel. Fortunately, I said I could do heavy squats. It still stings your feet quite a bit. You can't do a PLF. So I land, and that thing, I mean, he was pretty close. Oh, a big, huge roar. Take a swap at me. And he missed my leg by that much and ripped that cake like it was butter. Just went right through it. And I said, oh, and of course the trainer's out there, wow, you get back, Simba, whatever your name was, get back. Oh. That ended me wanting to wrestle with that MF. So I had no desire. I did let him bite on my arm one time, to come up and bite on it. I said, okay, I'll take that. But holy cow, no way was I going to get. Now here they did.
Did you get any points from like Johnny Weissmuller?
Oh yeah, that wasn't Johnny, by the way, that was wrestling with him. But that was who's the guy that did the? I can't think of his name. He had his own circus, but he used to do that stuff. Even with the crocodiles or alligators. I don't think they did with crocodiles, maybe and they had a dummy alligator or whatever. But, and that's when they were doing the nude scenes. You remember when they'd swim nude through the girls were nude. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like Tarzan movies. Yeah. When you're a little kid,
That sounds pretty graphic.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's going to have to wear the costume. Now the guy was short. Yeah, about Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson comes on my armpit, like little guy. So he puts it on, looked like a California raisin. I mean, it's all shriveled. But he did a great job. He really did. Get out there and wrestle with him, and he kept his head where you couldn't see. Did a great job. So that's it. Now, they wanted me to. They also had a South American condor, which are huge. And their beak, they can take your finger off with one bite. I mean, just like a snapping turtle, and you have to really be careful. They would Scotch tape them when we had to be around them, because they could reach out and get you. So I had to fly with one. I had to, pretend like I got him, take him and take off. Now they had a dummy that I did that when I took off, but up until then I had to take him like this. Now I also approached him before I grabbed him. And the way you approach one of those guys, you approach them like this. Now, I had nicks all over the top of my, as long as they can't see my fingers, they would nick me. Then you grab them by the neck. Then you got them. Okay, I did that a couple of times, got it. Now I have to take off with it. I'm in the motorhome. That's what we use as all three of us, as our wardrobe, and when we were dressed and everything. And I'm in there, and I hear sirens coming. I didn't know what it was, and I'm signing pictures for the cast. This was the last day. This is when the guy who played the original Billy Batson in the Tom Tyler serial, The Adventures of Captain Marvel, he was a guest on. He was working at the zoo, and he came in and did a guest shot with it. But anyway. I'm signing all these autographs for him, it's the last day, and I go out and find out the trainer of the condor, and they'd been throwing the condor where you had to fly, and he got him pretty upset. He caught him on the lip and split his lip. Split it like that. He was bleeding like a stuck pig, hit the arteries up there and everything. But his just like having a hair lip, just totally stripped him. And you're wondering, okay, why do you think you'd be careful with these darn wild animals? You don't treat them like Tabby or, here, Rover. No, you don't. These are killers. They're built for it. They're built for it. You always wonder what your cat's looking at when he's looking at you. If I was bigger, what I would do with you. But you think about that. And you even a little cat or I'm deer hunting one night, and I'm out in a swamp, and it's right at the crack of dawn. The sun hadn't gotten up yet; it's just sort of pink, and I see these weeds. And apologize for anybody that's not a hunter. And I see these weeds, and I say, and because deer will try to creep around you, they can get low. I've been up on a ridge in California and watch a hunter down there and watch the deer on his creeping by, and the hunter never sees him. You see, so I'm thinking that's what I got there. So I got my rifle off and I start ready, and here comes this sort of dark, and I say, dang, it looked like a dog. I let it go by, and I said, it's a bobcat. And I still see the thing moving. I said, well, there's got to be a bigger one coming by. So I hate to shoot because it's going to spoil it for the deer. But this one came in and it was beautiful. I shot, so I did shoot it, okay. But I didn't want to mess him up, so I shot him in the spine, paralyzed him. So I go down to him, and that's why I'm telling you the story. And so I don't want to shoot him again and mess him up. So I'm going to take a stick and I'm going to do hit him like a rabbit punch. I go to do that. He grabbed that stick, and started coming up that thing. Man, I went back like that, and I mean strong. Those big claws came out, and he was coming up that thing. He'd have been on my. If I hadn't been able to drop it that fast and step back, he'd have been on my arm before I could have turned around. And he's paralyzed from the back down, but he's coming up at me. So, and I had the deer do the same thing. I shot him down, his back legs were out. He was chasing me through the damn woods. I'm just on two legs, and I had horns and everything coming at me, and I had to dodge behind a tree so I could get another shot at him. So don't have wild animals. You just, how these people in Yellowstone get up there and want to pet a damn bison. It's one of the most dangerous animals in the country, in the world. Bisons are big, and they're bad boys. Not as bad as a grizzly, but they still will make a mess of you. Well, boy, guys, I think I got the cue that this is about over. You guys, yeah. You guys have been nice sitting here and listening to this. I got 1,000,000 of those things, but read my book. It's all in there. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right.